Why is gold pumping right now? Because the US has cracked and started printing money again. At least that's what everyone is going to be saying over the next few days, and it's sort of true. I'll explain the sort of in a second, but first let's talk about why gold is pumping right now. Well, this week, the 30-year Treasury yield hit its highest level since 2007. In plain English, the world just told the American government that nobody wants to lend it money anymore because they don't trust it. And the US Treasury, the department that does all of the borrowing, they kind of cracked. They doubled the size of something that they call the Liquidity Support Buyback operation. They name it those four boring words because it's specially designed to stop you from listening. So let me rename it with 5 words. Interest rates down, gold up. That's it. Interest rates down, gold up. Are you listening now? Well, those 5 words are why gold ripped over 3% today. If that's all you need, stop watching now. If you want to understand exactly what's happening and what it means for your gold, let's crack into it. Right, so let's start with what the US Treasury actually is, because they are the ones that just folded and started what many people are going to call QE. If you don't know what QE is, it stands for quantitative easing, and it's when a country prints money. Now, in my opinion, this is not the same as QE, what's happening right now. It is actually a fair bit worse, to be honest, but the effect on gold is just as good. So let me explain how this works. So when the US government spends more than it collects in tax, it needs to borrow money to make up that shortfall. Where does it borrow money from? Well, it's not from like a magic pot. It borrows from investors, pension funds, foreign countries, banks, and a lot of time the money comes from you. You might not know it, but it does. So you hand over cash, they hand you a piece of paper. That paper is a certificate called a treasury or a bond. And it says that they'll pay you interest every year and give you back the money at the end. The interest rate on that paper is called the yield. The government does not set the yield, the lender does. Whoever's going to lend the money, they set the yield. So if the lenders are relaxed, then they're all good. They take 3% per year to lend to the government for 30 years. If they are nervous about getting paid back in money that's actually worth anything because of inflation, they demand more. They demand 4%, 5%, or even more than that. So the 30-year yield isn't really an interest rate, it's a confidence score on the United States, and it gets published in public where everyone can see it daily. And this week, that score hit 5.33%. That is the worst reading since 2007. Now think about what that means. The US is the most powerful government on the planet, and the market is charging it more to borrow than at any point since before the financial crisis. Why? Well, bloody take your pick. I mean, the US has $40 trillion of debt. Inflation is still running at about 3.3% and refusing to go away. And a war that nobody can end has just started in Iran. Oh, and not to mention, there's a brand new chairman of the Federal Reserve, America's central bank, a bloke called Kevin Walsh that nobody has fully figured out yet. Whatever the reason, buyers said, we aren't lending you shit. And this is the single most dangerous thing that can happen to a government carrying $40 trillion of debt. Because if you can't borrow, you can't function. Quick thing before you go, I've written a free guide called How to Retire Before 2036. It's a full 10-year plan for anyone starting late. Get out of debt, invest properly, retire on time. Free download, link in the description.